18 to 16, and it just keep going back.
Keeps
you
going.
see.
Yo, congrats, man. There's something like to poke your chest out about, man.
That's why I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
So on Monday night, it's like you said, if this is the right way to kill beef, you know, throughout your whole documentary was like, this is how you do it.
Right.
We said, yeah, we agree, and we did it. And look at the numbers.
And the large part has to do with the community policing.
That's it. Pure love. Done. Samson Styles with Dinner with the Mayor. As you can see, we already went right to eat. We just started talking, we started vibing. We were going over crime statistics. I mean, like, who'd have thunk that, you know, two dudes from, you know, the hood would, you know, meet up and have dinner and be excited about crime statistics going down. But he's an amazing person that has an amazing story, and someone that has definitely made a big difference. He's a winner, he's a writer, he's a culture crafter, he's a creator, and he did something that is gonna, in my opinion, help communities like Mount Vernon, where we have some inner city struggles that are struggles. But we had the chance to sit down in 2016, so we're now just about 3 years later, and Samson, he did a documentary. It's called Killing Beef. It won Best Documentary in the Newark Film Festival, and he's taken on more accolades and more awards, and I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about his documentary. The name is called Killing Beef, but I'm gonna let Samson tell you a little bit about it as we get into the discussion here with Dinner with the Mayor.
Yeah, how y'all doing? So the documentary is called Killing Beef, Gun Violence in the Black Community, and it deals with all the causes, the effects, and the solutions surrounding gun violence. And me being a victim and a perpetrator of gun violence from growing up, I know all too well what's real.
Yep.
So it's coming from a place of from the inside, knowing the true story, and telling that story, you know, to the world, because basically Killing Beef is a microcosm of what's happening all over the nation and all over the world. What causes gun violence? Same thing. You're not going to find rich people in rich neighborhoods with a gun violence problem or crime problem, for that matter, unless it's people that's deprived coming there to do the crime. So, you know,
It comes from hunger. It comes from hopelessness. It comes from joblessness. It comes from a culture of people that don't see no other way but a violent way. And that's where I think, you know, where we see what our communities have been through. I mean, I grew up on 4th and First for most of my life, and 4th and First for those in Mount Vernon is, you know, in the heart of a side of Mount Vernon that's really hard. And you know, Samson grew up in a similar way. He grew up in...
I grew up in Pink Houses projects in East New York, Brooklyn, and Brownsville projects in Brooklyn.
So I guess that growing up in similar conditions where you have, you know, people on top of each other, literally on top of each other, dealing with hunger, dealing with the limitations of limited resources. What kind of got you started to say you want to break beyond these barriers and say, you know what, I want to do something else that's something I'm more in love with, which is trying to help people do better? How did you discover your passion, I guess, is the question. Well, coming out of a place of hate.
Well, coming from prison first, right? I came from prison in 2004. And I knew I had a voice for telling stories. And I was trying to get into a new hustle, to tell you the truth, on making a mini documentary and just selling it as a DVD and just have a series like that, so I could put some money in my pocket. And I filmed these girls from Brooklyn. It's called the Brooklyn Girls Fight Club. They fight in the underground fight club. And I filmed them and did a documentary, started the documentary, and I shopped it. And upon shopping it, I run into Nelson George and him and Reginald Hutland and, you know, these guys that's big in Hollywood. And they said, yo, you got a skill set, man. So we wanted to give you an opportunity. At the time, Reginald Hutland was the president of BET. And he brought me to BET and said, we not only want to do a deal with your documentary, we also want to give you a career.
Yep.
And my life changed. All I needed was that opportunity, man. Nobody asked me, have you been convicted of a felony? Nobody asked me, hey, where you grew up, or, you know, just my past, period. Just looking at the skill set that I had and giving me an opportunity. And from that, I went in the door, and I never looked back.
My man. So you're a journalist, you're a writer. You're someone that sees things and wants to tell not just a story, but you want to tell the truth.
Right.
You want to get to the core substance and figure out what can be done to solve the problem. And that's part of the business we're in. We're in the business of problem solving. And again, we in Steam House. If y'all hungry, y'all got to check it out. The food is steaming delicious. And we got to get you some water or Coca-Cola or something pretty soon, because I'm telling you, the food, whew, man, I'm getting hungry just looking at it. But nonetheless, you know, you had this great career from BET, especially at a time when the internet wasn't, you know, what it is now, right? So you were at the forefront, kind of, you know, trailblazing. Can you tell, you know, just before we get into to Killing Beef, you know, what story or what piece working at BET stood out for you the most in that period of your career working as a journalist on the entertainment front?
I had a few stories that really that was captivating and you know, that was just definitely memorable. But when I did the story on Sean Bell, that gave me my real. I broke my chops on that story because you know, the police shot into the car 50 times. Man dies on his wedding day. You know, it was very heartfelt, and I took it personally because then the director said, "Hey Samson, I want you to cover the story." Other execs at the office didn't know if I could handle it. So they was like, he's a street kid, this is some real news, and the director said he could handle this.
Got it.
And he called me in the room. He called me in the room and said, listen, don't make me look bad. They betting against you. And he gave me the format, and he said, look, this is your time slot every day, 7:30. I want you to tell me what went on through, you know, today, or day of, about Sean Bell. Any press conferences, any statements, anything new, you got to be on it.
Wow.
So it was like, that's how I broke my chops, and we won awards for that documentary when we finished. And from then, I was in love. I was already in love with media, but it really showed me the power when Sean's mother, Valeria Bell, called me, because she didn't give an interview to anyone. And not even me. When I was doing the doc, I tried to reach out to her. She wasn't talking to no press. But after she watched it on BET, she called me. And she said, I'm sorry I didn't give you the interview. And you did a great job. And I'll give you the first interview when I started to talk. That touched me, and I'm still cool with their family to the day.
So. Well, you know, and that's where I think, you know, first, congrats and thank you, because I've seen that, and that's part of, you know, my journey watching this from different vantage points. Having worked in the governor's office, working now as the mayor of Mount Vernon, you know, seeing, you know, substantive, passionate, real accounts of the impact on people in the families, and how, you know, you just can't make the statistic a statistic. It has to be more than that. And you're not just going to erase all this history. You're not going to erase all these things. You're going to explain so people can understand. So young people that see these things happen don't just say, oh, all right, it's normal. It's a badge of honor. It's something that we can just say, who cares? It's not normal. It's not a badge of honor. It's really something that, when you grow up with violence around you, especially gun violence, we want to break that cycle. And that's why I come back to, talking about your coverage, informing, educating people, and giving them a different perspective on life. Because a lot of people just said, oh, it's some knucklehead leaving the strip club that got shot by the cops. No, it was more than that. And that's why I think your documentary, not just on Bell, but the one on Killing Beef, is so important to the conversation of justice, social justice, and making sure that we reform the system where we can responsibly.
Right.
And that's a mouthful. It's all big words, but it can happen. It can be done. It happened here in Mount Vernon. We're going to come to this point in a moment, but I'm just saying that there aren't that many Mount Vernon moments. There aren't that many communities out there that have the ability to do some of the things that he and I discussed. But for the communities out there that are thinking about doing it, for the communities out there that are struggling with how do they connect with the groups like you described earlier, they don't have a budget. How do they get to connect with the police department, or how do they get to connect with, others so they can have these positive impacts?
Well, a lot of it goes to what you said earlier as far as the mindset, right? Because it's more than just the poverty and other social, issues that causes gun violence. A lot of it is the mindset. Okay, they say, broken homes. Oh, it's not enough fathers. But where's the uncles at? Where's the cousins? Where's the big brothers? They exist. There's a bunch of men in the community. But what type of mindset do they have? What are they instilling in these kids when they watch them? Do they see them disrespecting these women? Do they see, as far as masculinity being, do they see as far as being violent and masculinity coincide with each other, right? What type of girls in the neighborhood what type of boys are they attracted to? Are they attracted to the one that's more mild-tempered and more reserved? Or are they attracted to the one that'll bust somebody's head? Like, all of this plays a part in helping violence to persist, And I know firsthand because, I was a violent guy. I went away to prison for violent crimes, along with drugs. And a lot of it was due to the being accepted or making sure that I could, basically thrive in this neighborhood where you have to survive, right? So I'm not just trying to survive, I'm trying to thrive. So that means I'm taking things to the extreme. So, I want to be respected more than just this guy. I want to be respected and feared because with that comes
respect.
Right.
And it's Darwinistic. I mean, only the strong survive. And you have to be the last man standing, depending upon what arena you're in. And I can only, say that this is why Killing Beef is so important, because a lot of people haven't really diagnosed the root causes and dove in to say, all right, this is a root cause, but here's the road to redemption. Here's the road to solving it. Here's the road to resolution. And again, I'm proud to have been a part of this, this conversation in the documentary, because we started this at the beginning of my tenure, and we talked about, all right, now if we can't create jobs, then what? If we can't, put money into the parks, then what? Because we were talking about budget issues. So what do you do in the absence? At the time, President Obama came out with the 21st Century Policing model, and we took as many elements of that as possible, and we reached out to the community and we said, we're going to try this, and we started something completely new. We identified Dave Clark, Detective Clark, another son and brother of Mount Vernon, and you know, he was passionate enough to make sure we try and start changing the hearts and minds of those inside Mount Vernon Police Department. And it was a process. It took a couple years, but I'm proud to say we have amazing results. But before we get to that, I want to go back to the importance of, you know, killing beef, and how do you explain to the community, you know, as you identify these causes, how do you explain to the community that they play a role in the solution to violent crime, and how do you cover that in killing beef? Because you don't just shock them, you like knock them out completely with some of the stories and examples that you have. And I'm not going to get to the example that knocked me out my seat, but I'm going to let you tell the story because you're the storyteller. I'm just a fan.
Well, you know,
you grab one of these chips too.
How the community, I just, by setting an example for people to follow, me being once part of the problem, and people knew me to be part of the problem, and then to see me doing something positive and changing my life around, and having genuine concern for people in the community, and reaching out, it's kind of contagious, you know. So if someone want to come around me, they know they got to be positive, and it changed the whole circle, the energy, who comes around me, to the point that a young brother could have just been cursing somebody out when they see me, and knowing what my background is and where I came from, they see me and say, yo, pardon me. And they try to even change, you know, the way they speak around me. That showed me the power that I have just by leading by example. You know, so that, along with, you know, being the example that I want to see, and not accepting certain things around me, and for other people to be the same way, it will definitely diminish a lot of the BS that goes on. Because now, you know, say Miss Green comes in the building, you know Miss Green don't play. If she smell anybody smoking any weed, she's calling the police. So guess what people gonna do when they see Miss Green?
They're gonna put it out.
They're gonna be there. They're gonna Miss Green, put that down. Nobody gonna challenge her, right? Because she said, because she's knows. So if I'm not allowing someone to be disrespectful or whatever around me, that's going to catch on. And just like you said, the mindset, that's so important. Because once the mindset is set, like, you ever go to a community, one project, and here go another one right across the street. I'm
eating your chips, man. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
These are good.
They might have.
Look, eat some.
I'm going to eat some, man, but you know.
I thought it's a communal thing. I thought it was for the table. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to eat some, but it's hard for me to talk with these, you know.
I know. No, we got Steam House, y'all. The food is great.
Oh, man.
Right?
These are light. You might have to take over the conversation.
See, he's a food critic now, you see? That's why I was like, yo, I got to get another one. I'm sorry, I got to reach it. Again, they should have put it right here. My bad.
I almost double dipped, too.
It's all right. You can double dip. It's your plate. I mean, this is my last one. So, just see some more food coming on the way. But, you know, look. We gotta continue to do what we're doing. I think what we're doing is ordained. I think it was written spiritually. I think it was written because there's no way two guys with, you know, just the odds completely stacked against us will wind up where we are right now.
Come on, the mayor, Mount Vernon,
in an award-winning, you know, documentarian journalist. Telling the truth, and that's one thing you can't do. You can't control the truth. You can't control it, but when it's there, it really has an impact on uplifting people. And I think your documentary is something that's going to uplift people. And I just, you know, for those in Mount Vernon that know the numbers, and for those out there that don't know, since Samson and I sat down in 2016, crime in Mount Vernon has plummeted. And I'm proud of it because, you know, there was a lot of pushback. People didn't believe that by taking the tactics that he recommends, just so happened to be very much the same as those found in Obama's 21st century model.
I give you a lot of credit and respect, and for the simple fact that a man at your position, you have a city to run, and you still take the time out to deal with the average common person. That's the problem with a lot of cities where these high violent crime rates, right? You have someone that has good ideas, and they know they in it, but they can't even reach out and even get in touch with their mayor. That's what makes the difference. Being accessible and understanding, understanding the social environment.
Well, part of it is, look, being from Mount Vernon or being from a place where there's a lot of challenges, you know how important it is to have that signal that there's somebody out there that cares about you. And it's so important to have that signal that your community cares. I care. And I just looked down and noticed that I was wearing my Shamoya bracelet. I wear this every day. And I just, it becomes second nature. And Shamoya is a young girl that just wanted a cell phone, that wanted to play basketball. She was 6'4", by the way, in the 8th grade. Tall, nice with it, playing boys basketball. JV just promoted, being scouted, and she got caught in the middle of a gang shootout and lost her life. And her mom, Nadine McKenzie, much love Nadine, for always smiling and being strong throughout the loss of her daughter, her only daughter, her dad being a cop. It's just, amazing story of them being so proud of their daughter, but losing her the way, we know the ugly components of the communities that we grew up in. We want to make it beautiful. We want to make it safe. And so Shamoya, I wear it because it's a reminder, like, that could have been me, it could have been somebody, it could have been anybody. But the problem is it was one of our daughters. And that was one of the flashpoints that brings me back to, why we go so hard to pour on the love and not try to arrest our way out of the problem. We have to treat this like the common cold. We have to try everything from barbecues to music festivals to, hands-on activities, trying to show people how to be job ready and get their job skills. But it's connecting all the dots. But the only way to do it without a budget, without the ability to have funding, is pure management. It's demanding that people be accountable, demanding that people know that this is what it is. We're going to do this barbecue, and you're going to be out there, and you're going to talk to people, and you're going to give me a count. How many people did you talk to? And you're going to follow up with those people. And if it's a kid that's in the 6th grade, you're going to follow up with him when he's in the 7th grade. You're going to stay in touch.
And what are you able to do as mayor as far as helping, as far as the police mindset?
That, by basically, helping them go to training to see that community policing is a new way of life, because people are dealing with different things today, be it mental illness, be it joblessness, as we already know. And cops are not just cops; they're also social workers. They have to talk their way out of different scenarios. We have active shooters, situations that we have to, be mindful of. We have, other challenges with respect to, illegal dumping and things that we have to confront with trafficking. I mean, just so many things. And I'm speaking now as a person that really try to ingrain myself into the police department, because, look, after you and I left, they eliminated funding for a police commissioner. They were so angry that we were doing so well with the community. They took funding away from our police commissioner.
Wow.
And 20 cops. So think about it. I was operating at a deficit on top of a deficit. But we still found the workers. We found the doers. We found the people that said, you know what, we're going to do it, and we don't need a budget. And that's what Killing Beef is about. It's about finding the people that want to do. And when you watch Killing Beef, you'll see that it's right. You can kill beef by grilling beef. I promise you, it works.
Definitely a call to action. Call to action that will galvanize, or hopefully galvanize, people in the community to get involved. And it airs on Revolt TV, January 21st, MLK Day at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's a big time slot. We got it.
Amen, amen, amen. Just keep leading the charge, keep leading the way, and I look forward to having you to be mayor for a day in Mount Vernon. You can handle
man.
What do you think?
Oh, I love that challenge, man.
All right, so we're going to do it on a Thursday. That way you have the tabletops with the commissioners, and you have I think we'll probably do it, I don't know, you around this Thursday? We'll see what happens. We're going to work it out. Samson's going to be mayor for a day. And mayor for a day, and he's going to have his day in Mount Vernon, and we're going to make sure we give him more opportunities to tell great stories about, his vision, his hard labor, and his passion. Your story is inspiring on many levels, and I don't think people understand how important it is, the work that you've done. I think it's going to be like what's the name of that story? Was The Roots? It's like that collective series. It's like just change everybody's perspective. That's how big it is for dealing with this problem in our community. And I'm so proud to be a part of it, but also to see it, because it's another signal to people out there that are trying to revolt against, what's wrong in this our society, and rise up and do what's right. So make sure you tune into Revolt. January 21st, MLK Day, at what time?
At 10 p.m. Eastern.
Listen, this has been Dinner with the Mayor. We've been having a delicious discussion in the Steam House. He's going to eat his chips.
Yeah,
and wait till you see the food that's going to come out. You're going to be jealous you ain't here. Make sure you come to Steam House to have rum punch, some other good stuff, and stay tuned for the Best of Mount Vernon, the Best of Mount Vernon contest that we're going to launch coming soon to you. Thank you for joining me. Samson Styles, my man. Look, we got so much more to do. We just getting started, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.